Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another My Sims 4 wishlist video. So today's episode is about kites. If you forgot that they've already been in both The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, I don't blame you. In both games, they were attached to the toy making machine as something you could make from that. Kites, I think, are a small but fun outdoor activity that should return in The Sims 4 at some point. And what's kind of funny is that in a way, kites are already in The Sims 4, but not in a way that we can actually use them, because you may have noticed in Brindleton Bay and Cavalier Cove, there's a couple different spots where these decorative Sims are flying kites, so I think that's even more reason for kites to return, so that our Sims can actually use them and not just these decorations. But in The Sims 4, I think they should stand as their own separate catalog entry instead of being attached to the hip at some object and having to unlock the kites that way. And if they did that, they'd be much more easily accessible. They'd probably cost somewhere in the low to mid hundreds because I'd like to see about 3 different designs instead of just one. When I did my episode on hot air balloons, I mentioned style as a fun aspect of flying them, and in my opinion, the same can be said for kites. We'd have the same conventional design that we've seen in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, and that would be the cheapest one. And it'd have a green plumb bob design as the default swatch. And then the mid-range kite would be just like the glider shape that you're already seeing in this footage. And one of the swatches could have freezer bunnies on them, maybe with like some cute steampunk goggles or something like that, just to like represent a more aviation-oriented style. And the most expensive one would be a bird-shaped design that would have different varieties of birds represented, and yes, of course, one of those would have to be a seagull. In terms of functionality, you could drag them into your Sims inventory so they can take their kites with them and fly them wherever they'd like, as long as they're outside. There would be some connectivity to seasons, where wind would be a factor in how high the kite flies, or in some cases just flop to the ground right away, but most of the time, it still should be possible to fly kites at a decent height. One thing I discovered while getting footage for this video is that in The Sims 3, Sims can be struck by lightning while flying it, destroying the kite completely. But it could happen even with barely a cloud in the sky, so I think that really needs to be changed so that it only happens when there's an actual thunderstorm going on. There's a chance lightning strikes from kites could be deadly too in The Sims 4. So yeah, there would also be that to keep in mind. There's a couple of new features I'd like to add onto the kites if they come back to The Sims 4. So in the past, kids to elders could use them, but I think toddlers should not be left out. I think toddlers should be able to fly them as well. Don't worry, there'd be no chance of injury or anything like that, but it'd just be like a cute little thing where the toddler could sit or stand and they just fly the kites like everyone else. There could also be a cute romantic interaction where a couple would pair up to fly a single kite. One Sim would fly the kite while the other stands behind and has their arms wrapped around their partner's chest looking over their shoulder. It might take a bit of effort to get that to look right, especially considering at the time of making this video, we still don't have slow dancing in the game. But considering Sims 4's focus on socializing, I think it'd be well worth it. So how do I think kites should be given to us? Ideally, since I talked about having weather factoring into the gameplay, I think it would be a perfect fit for a Seasons pack. One other way that I can imagine it happening is through a stuff pack that's themed around outdoor activities in a similar way to backyard stuff, but with activities that would be more likely done at a park rather than at home, like with a driving range or lawn bowling, something like that, I don't know. I could also imagine kites fitting into a game pack focusing on different hobbies, much like The Sims 2 Free Time, with kites falling under outdoor recreation. And that wraps up another My Sims 4 wishlist video. While I think kites are pretty overlooked and underappreciated, I think they could be made better in The Sims 4, especially if they were included as a Seasons expansion. And let me know in the comment section below if you'd like to see kites return and what you'd like to see with them. And be sure to check out the playlist for my Sims 4 wishlist, as I've done quite a few videos so far, and I keep planning on doing more. I have so many ideas, so yeah, stay tuned for more of those. And be sure to leave a like or a comment or even subscribe, because it lets me know that you like my channel, my videos, and it helps you keep up to date more easily with the latest content from me. I do videos on The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!